So let me go ahead and give my thoughts on Melty Blood type Lumina, because I think this is something that a lot of people have been asking me in the past couple days, and I haven't really done a video on it or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I will say right now that I've been playing this game since release. I've learned 3 characters. I've been online quite a bit. I made it to A+, which I didn't think I was going to do. I'm going to be grinding out for the S. And I tried out the lobbies. I tried out the missions, training mode, story mode, everything like that. And I am ready to come forward about this game and how I feel about this game. Right now, Melty Blood type Lumina is like my new addiction. Now, I've done this a lot with other fighting games in the past. Like, I've done this with Granblue. I've done this with BB Tag. I've done this with, you know, a bunch of other games, including Guilty Gear Strive to some extent. So, I prefer this game over any other game that's come out in recent years. Even over Granblue. And I love Granblue. Granblue is such a fantastic game, in my opinion. But this game is probably the closest I've ever gotten to feeling like BB Tag obsessed. Like, I was obsessed with 2 games in my life. Fighting games, I should say. Oh, well, not 2, but you know what I mean. In recent memory, it's been BBCF and BB Tag. Those are the 2 games that I've been obsessed with. Oh, and Under Night. You know what? Forget about it. The last time I've ever felt this way about a fighting game was with BBCF. And essentially what that means is I just want to play it over and over and over, learn new characters, go online. And the thing is, the online is actually good this time, so I can do that. So that gives me access to learn a whole bunch of characters without really worrying too much about whether or not the opponent's going to be laggy. Even though there's some lag in this game, don't get me wrong. But for the most part, it's been a pretty good experience. I'll talk about that later. So anyways, I played the game a lot. So the first thing I want to start off by saying is the single-player experience. The single-player experience is better than most. I think it's better than what it was in BB Tag, for sure. It's not better than Granblue, that's for damn sure. Granblue is like the best fighting game single-player experience you can have because of RPG mode and missions, and you can just do a lot of stuff. But the reason why I like this game single-player so much is because of Boss Rush. Yes, I did do the Boss Rush, and I'm not going to tell you who the secret character is. You probably already know. If you really want to find out, find out. But yeah, that mode is just really, really fun. Super, super fun. And it reminded me a little bit of like Unlimited Mars. And not Unlimited Mars, but, you know, kind of like Grim Abyss, or whatever from BlazBlue. It's basically just like powered up boss characters and stuff, which is great. But other than that, you got missions, you got the story, which it's in visual novel style, so you can play through your specific character and do whatever the hell you want. Boss Rush was just great, and then of course you got the online and such. And I love the mission mode in this game because the mission mode, it actually teaches you quite a few things that are beginner friendly. If you're brand new to the game, it teaches you a lot of stuff, how to use the auto combo system and combos specific to that character, which I love. It's not as intricate or as deep as Under Night, the mission mode I mean, but it gives you a nice foundation for you to be able to set off on your journey and find out what your character can do. And yeah. So yeah, the mission mode is really strong. I like it a lot, personally. You can basically do this mission mode for like every character, platinum it, it's etc., etc. Whereas other games out there, it's really hard to be able to like complete it with every character. That's the mission mode. Other than that, let's talk about the netcode. And I already made a video about this, and I actually really do like the netcode for this game, especially for what it is, a game that hasn't even tested the netcode and such. I know that on the PC, this game is a little rough. It's not polished. I feel like they're going to be adding fixes more and more, so it can be a little bit more polished. But on PS4, that's the game, that's the platform I played it on, and I had a blast. Everything ran pretty smooth, except for, you know, a couple of people that were pretty laggy. The rollback isn't not as terrible as I thought. It's definitely not Street Fighter V terrible, even though I have played against players that got to that level. But I like to measure things by ratio, like the good connections compared to the bad connections. And I said in the rollback video that I made that it was like 8-2, and I'm still sticking to that. About 8-2 matches are good. So yeah, 8 out of 10 matches are good, and then 2 matches are freaking terrible. And you know, those matches usually get clipped and or highlighted so they can show off how terrible this game's netcode is, which is not the case. But anyways, the netcode, solid, not bad. I'm glad that they were able to implement netcode, and I have a feeling that they're going to keep on improving on it. The other thing, and last but not least, we have, of course, the gameplay. Personally speaking, I enjoy this gameplay a lot because it reminds me a lot of Melty Blood, and at the same time reminds me a lot of Under Night. It's like a great mixture of the two. Usually Melty Blood has those 3 variations, and depending on the variation you can reverse beat, and there's like a downside to reverse beating, a very small downside, but there's a downside. Whereas this game is like Under Night, where everybody can rebeat. Everybody can rebeat, which I love. That's one of the aspects about Under Night I loved, and I fell in love with ever since then. So I love the fact that it reminds me a little bit of both games. Now, when it comes to the shield, which is probably the part that a lot of people have been hearing about, because a lot of people don't necessarily like the shield mechanic in this game. Me personally, I don't mind it. I like it personally because it adds to some hype, because you can have shield clash battles, which are really fun to watch. As a spectator, it's like the Tekken 7 slow motion effect. You know, I love seeing clips of just some crazy shield clashes and shield wars, because they add for some pretty good content out there, and that's what most fighting games need, is good content, funny, fun to watch, and etc., etc. So they did good there. The only problem I have with the shield mechanic itself is the fact that there is almost no repercussion. There is a repercussion, but there's almost no repercussion to doing shield, meaning that the risk reward, I feel like it's a little bit lopsided, because if you really want to have a mechanic where it's that strong, where it's basically forces you to have an interaction or not have an interaction, because you can just literally not do the follow-up, shield and fake them out and stuff, which is why I love the shield system, because you have the option to not shield at all, and that can leave the opponent kind of like with their pants down. It's like, oh shoot, you didn't shield at all, and you're like, yeah, I didn't shield at all, and then you hit them. But when it comes to the shield, when you do it, there's almost no repercussion for just doing it. All right. Now, of course, you can shield improperly, and if that, I do it all the time. I literally mash on shield and I do it improperly. But when you bait out a shield, I don't get any satisfaction, or it doesn't ease my nerves. Whenever I bait out a shield, because whenever you bait out a shield, you either grab them or you either hit them low or hit them overhead, whatever the case may be, right? You just wait for them, and there's hardly any recovery whenever you shield too. There is some recovery, but hardly any. So whenever you grab, you can just do it again. You can just do the shield again, and that's primarily my biggest issue with shield, is when I bait out a shield, it's like we're back from square one, right? Whereas there is a game that I already mentioned that does the shield mechanic, I think, very properly. It's not as strong, of course, but I love the fact that if you bait out a shield in Under Night, the shield gets broken and gets locked out for just a couple seconds, maybe 3 seconds, and then you can shield again. I think that would be so cool, because there's so many strong defensive mechanics. The fact that you can take away one of them can send some fear into the player, and that just adds on to the mind games, which I really like. Yeah, and in Under Night, the shield is also attached to Vorpal, and it's also attached to a whole bunch of other things. But I feel like if you were to bait out shield in this game, it's like, okay, you can just do it again. It's not really that big of a deal, really. And then you can rely either on shield again or your other million other defensive mechanics, which I don't mind at all. I love the defensive mechanics in this game. The more the merrier, in my opinion. It just adds on to the creativity of the players as to how to open you up. You know what I mean? There's the Moondrive cancel, there's the shield, there's the heat, there is invincible reversals, there is the frame 1 armor moves that come out of Moondrive. That is the only problem I have with Shield. Other than that, and to be honest with you, that's a problem that is not that big of a deal. Like, I'll get over it. It's not like a make or break deal for me. You know, it's like, oh my god, there's no risk to doing Shield. No, there's some risk, but I would have expected Shield to be a lot more riskier than it actually is. That's my opinion on it. But overall, love the Shield mechanic. I love the fact that there's essentially 4 things you can do out of Shield, which is either the launcher, the lunge, the teleport, or nothing. That's my favorite aspect about it, and it adds to some really cool mind games, and that's what I love seeing from this game. It's just mind games and such. So yeah, I enjoy everything about this game. I love the meter mechanic. I love the fact that you can gain a meter after the end of a round, meaning that this game is very resource heavy. You have to manage your resources, your moon drive, your actual meter for you to be able to cancel into EXs and confirm and or pressure. So in my opinion, Melty Blood's pretty great. Oh, and then there's one more thing I wanted to address is the difficulty in this game, the auto combos, because I think that's another hot topic that I would like to talk about. The auto combos is really not a bad thing. Well, that's probably because of my background. I come from BB Tag, and BB Tag is exceptionally known for auto combos. It's literally part of the game. It's built into it. In this game, they went a different route. They essentially went with, yes, you can do an auto combo if you press any one of the buttons 3 times, because the second follow-up after you press that first initial button is universal. That's the universal auto combo tool that's only assigned to that specific area or button, right? So 5BB or 5CC and 5AA is the same button. I like it. I can see why people don't, because some people try to do like 2C, 5C, and then they mash on the C too hard, so they get 2C into auto combo. And once you auto combo, you can't reverse beat. You have to be able to special cancel and or commit to the launcher. That I can see why people don't like it. I don't necessarily mind it either, because it just makes me want to be more tight on the rebeats and on the pressure that I'm inflicting. But they're really good for beginners. That's for damn sure. A lot of people really like them. I like the fact that I can go for... It has the Dragon Ball FighterZ effect, where you can go in the air and you can basically just press a button and you get the throw, or you get the buttons that you want to get. And there's kind of an advantage to doing that, because sometimes, you know, this game is so fast-paced that you might mistime a button and you can drop a combo just like that. But if you just mash on one button, you're totally fine. You know what I mean? So, pretty nice. So the auto combos, I don't mind them. I think they're really good for people who are trying to get into fighting games for the first time. Melty Blood is one of those games where you can pick up whenever you want and you can start doing cool things right off the bat. You know, no difficult motions. This isn't King of Fighters, even though King of Fighters is freaking sick. Yeah, I think people can have a great time with this game, competitively and casual. All they need to do is just add more characters, which I imagine they might do. Hopefully. Anyways, those are my thoughts on Melty Blood Type Lumina. What I think about the game, kind of like a little overview / review on what I think about the game. I will be doing other videos, such as, you know, who I think is the strongest and stuff, because regardless of how balanced the game is, there's bound to be some characters that are stronger than the others, even though this game is extremely balanced. That's one other thing I wanted to point out. This game is very balanced. One of the most balanced fighting games I've played in a while. Every character can do work. Maybe the only one character that I haven't seen put in a lot of work is Roa. But that's probably because I haven't looked hard enough, or I don't know. They're still in the Roa players are still in the lab. But I've seen every single one of these characters on the roster put in some work. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, I'll be doing more videos. So that's my thoughts on Melty Blood Type Lumina. I love the game. I think the game is phenomenal. And anybody should try it if they want to try it. If it's not their cup of tea, play with it, anything else. Oh, the music. Oh my god, just real quick tidbit. Yeah, the music. Oh, the music, so awesome. I love the music. It's so good. Anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say.